So the big question really to ask you first of all, Scott, is that Mirko Cro Cop off the cards, broke on Monday, understand he had surgery over the weekend because he'd injured himself. How hard has it been this week with kind of dealing with Roy and dealing with Mirko off the cards?
I mean, listen, it's always a tough situation. We wanted to put that fight together, and that was something that was on top of the Gegard fight when we originally planned 200. We wanted this to be a spectacular card. I still think it's going to be an amazing fight card with Gegard and with Carvalho and MVP and just all the great fighters that we have. But unfortunately, Mirko tore his knee and he's out. So Roy will not have a fight on Friday. We will sit down with Roy after this fight and we'll get him rebooked and we'll get busy again.
The immediate question, my last one on Roy and Cro Cop, is the winner of this was going to become the alternate for the Grand Prix tournament. Does he automatically take that place now? Then?
Yeah, I mean, to me, Roy is the guy now. So if he gets the slot by default, that's what it is. Roy will move forward in the tournament if someone else can't make it.
What's been your reaction to the new ESPN deal with the UFC? It's now 30 events as opposed to 15.
Yeah, you know what? I just read that this morning, and you know what? Hey, good for them. I mean, to me, it's great for everybody. I mean, when I started this in the martial arts fight business in MMA 2006, there was no MMA on TV. I mean, Spike TV was really the first one to give MMA a chance, and then Fox Sports, I think Fox affiliates came in, and then we landed the CBS Showtime deal, back in 07, 08, and so it seems like everybody has MMA now. Every network in America has MMA. So hey, listen, this sport's come a long way, and this is just another, solid proof that the sport is here to stay and it's not going anywhere.
Fans are really happy that this card is going to be live in the UK. Is there anything that, going towards making that permanent for UK, Irish fans to be able to watch the events live?
So here's what I'd say to that. We should probably talk about the television schedule for this fight. So 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock, it'll be live on Spike 5. And then it'll be at 10 o'clock, MTV will start. So from 10 to midnight, this will run on MTV as well. So I think it'll catch up at 10 o'clock, and then they'll carry out the rest of the fight on until midnight. And then Monday at 11:30 p.m., Channel 5 will run a highlight show on this event. So it's going to have great TV distribution over 3 different days, and it's something that we've been working towards. And we'll have more to announce probably at the end of the fight about next year's schedule, live events, what we can do, what we can't do, what will happen on Channel 5, what will happen on Spike UK. But we got some exciting things to announce, so it's going to be fun.
At the moment, do you think it's something you can accomplish, getting live events in the UK and Ireland?
When you're saying live events, you're talking about events in America or events here?
Like having your events even in the US, have them live on
TV.
Yeah, I think that when you talk about live in America, it's like 4 in the morning here, and that's the tough part. And so we're still trying to work it out through our digital distribution platform, which is our app, right? And so that's what we're trying to get clearance on. So that hasn't been done yet, but I don't think that it's that far away.
How many people do you think will be there on Friday? Like, how many tickets have you sold?
I think we'll have a full house, which is like 9,000. That's what I think Wembley holds.
The MTV, going live on MTV is interesting. What's the thinking behind that? So it's a very new. Is it the new hip audience reaching out to that demographic? Because it's unusual.
Yeah, I think that. Look, it's. I think Aaron has a lot to do with that, being that he's he's the reality show star here, and he will. People want to see his fight. I think on MTV as well. It'll be a whole different audience. I think that we'll draw in with Aaron. So Viacom and Spike UK, Viacom here in the UK. So I think we really want to put this on MTV, and so I said great. So we'll have two different distribution points on Friday night, and then 5 will air the thing on Monday.
How would you describe your relationship with Paul Daly as it stands today?
It's people. I think people are making more of it than it is. Listen, he had a fight with Fitch, and he was on the radio saying a lot of things, but this is the time right before they're going into combat, and he's probably cutting weight and saying his thing. But Paul and I are due to talk. I want to say Friday night or Saturday, and look, we're going to work it out. He's a great fighter. I love Paul Daly. We've been working together for many years, and I think he's a fantastic talent. And I hope he fights for years to come with Bellator.
Daly versus MVP is clearly one of the biggest fights that Bellator can put on. Are you confident that you can make this happen?
You know what? I haven't talked to MVP, but it seems like when one fighter wants to do it, then the other doesn't do it. Now the other guy wants to do it, then the other guy doesn't. But listen, we'll work on it. And I feel confident that we're going to be a company that makes the big fights, and that's a big fight.
So this is a tent pole, obviously, for you through your year. Is there potential to have another tent pole here that they could perhaps headline, and that maybe Nelson and Cro Cop could be on later in the year? I'm just ruminating.
Yeah, you know what? It's something probably could happen next year. Next year, but. Like I said, we have some fun things we're going to announce at the end of the fight on Friday night. So, I want to, refrain from talking too much about the future. But, we're committed to the UK. As you guys know, this is a company that's owned by Viacom. Viacom has a big presence here, and we're going to make it all work.
50 Cent had a conversation with MVP. What's his involvement with Bellator, and of course, is he going to be there on cage side on Friday? Yeah,
50 Cent is coming. He's arriving tomorrow. And it's really been a fun time because anytime 50 Cent or somebody of his magnitude comes and says, hey, I want to come see your show, we're going to say, please come check it out. And he's a big fight fan. He's a combat sports fan. So when he came to our fight in San Jose, I think he had a really good time. And he said, hey, I want to go to London. So he's coming to London, and he's a very busy guy. I'm thankful that he loves Bellator and he loves MMA, and he will be here. And then maybe you guys could ask him yourself what he thinks about it or whatever. But there's no business relationship where he has to be here because we're paying him. I mean, he's doing this all on his own. So he loves it. I think he's having fun with the Rampage thing. I think he's having fun with the MVP thing. I think he's having fun with the King Mo and Bader pieces. And I just think he's having a good time. He's and like I said, anytime 50 wants to be involved, we're going to say yes.
Are you a fan of his music?
You know what? Come on, who's not? It's he's a big icon worldwide. In fact, I think he's playing here at the O2 in September. Yeah. So and then he's playing in Manchester or Birmingham. But the guy is not just a music talent. Now he's an actor and a producer and a writer. I mean, he's pretty. He's a brand builder. I mean, he's been very successful. And when I sat down and I talked to him, I got it. I could see why he's been so successful.
When we spoke to you last year, you did kind of say that going into South America, Latin America was kind of on the deck, on the plans. What's the latest there?
Well, we are still working on that, but that's going to be a process. I think that we can talk about that. I think after the fight, and I think when we lay out some of our plans, it'll be a little bit clearer as to what we're doing. Mm-hmm. But I still think that working towards the Vanderlei Silva fight, against Rampage Jackson, we're still working towards that in Brazil.
And Yair Rodriguez, I know that you've kind of expressed interest if he is officially released. Any update? Do you have something in writing that says he is officially released from the UFC now?
I haven't seen it, but I was told by CAA that he is an official free agent, that they got the release letter. And I think that my guys are still talking to him, but I don't have an update at this time.
Any update on Rory? Like, we've been waiting to hear news on Rory MacDonald for a while now.
You will hear something very soon about Rory MacDonald.
At the end of the night, right?
No, maybe you might have to wait another couple of weeks.
Okay.
But something very soon. I think it's going to be a good event for Roy.
Yes. Just officially, is Roy Nelson off the card now? No plans to get him?
Yes, Roy Nelson is not fighting, and it's unfortunate because of the injury. But we got so many different calls and emails saying, hey, I can fight Roy. And we gave some guy that was like a 14-year-old kid said, I've never fought before, but when Roy put out that hey, come tweet at Coker and Rich and Mike, started getting a bunch of requests saying, hey, I want to fight Roy. And I'm like, have you ever fought before? No. It's just silly. But
50 Cent.
50 is a little bit busy, so he didn't have time for training camp. But seriously, on that note, it's we made a ton of calls, but a lot of fighters that, and I don't want to say any names, but inquired, were either under contract or there's no way we could have processed the visa in time for them to come here and compete. So it just didn't work out.
Just lastly from me, is Ben Askren, I know you were a bit cold on it a few weeks ago. Is that warmed up again? Is Ben still...
Listen, this is how I feel. If Ben wants to fight multiple fights, by all means, and Chatri's okay with it, you know, by all means, come compete. But if you want to do just a one-off to fight Rory MacDonald, then, you know, we're not interested in that. You know, we're interested in a much bigger relationship.
Just to follow up on Roy Nelson's situation, will he be compensated at all?
Yeah, we're going to sit down with him and work something out. And we will get him rebooked and get him fighting again soon. So, listen, this would have been his 3rd fight of the year. We're trying to get him 3 fights a year. He wants to fight 4 fights a year. But, you know, I think 3 is a good number. Thanks, guys.
Just quickly going back to the 50 Cent question. I know you mentioned that he's coming over in the fan capacity. Is there potential for there to be a professional relationship there too in the future?
I mean,
so what might that be?
You know what, we talked about, you know, things that we could help him do, because he's been, you know, really pumping Bellator pretty hard. And I'm saying, hey, 50, what do you know, how can we help? I think he's talking to Paramount about some projects, you know, I'm talking to Viacom about some projects, so I'm hoping that we can give value back to him.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Scott,
yes.
Sorry, just a question from Ireland. Charlie Ward, the last time he was in the cage, it went a bit viral. Any word on repeats this time of the type of personnel around, or have you made special arrangements so it won't happen?
Yeah, you know what? I just, you know, I think that, listen, I think that whoever's there will behave themselves. Yeah. And I think that'll be the case, because I think that, you know, after New York, I think things have calmed down. Everybody has like a keen sense of, you know, understanding and like, you know, let them, you know, if he wins or loses, you know, it's a fight and you move forward. But as far as, you know, having some kind of, you know, situation, you know, it's like, look, we'll do our best to prevent that, but I don't think it's going to be an issue this time.
Yeah, you know, you made an interesting comment there. Who will be there will be there. Have invitations been extended to members of Charlie's team?
We have not extended any invitations, but you know, I think there'll be a lot of celebrities in the house.
Is Conor McGregor welcome again?
Of course. Conor McGregor is a big star.
That's what I was asking about,
yeah.
more politely.
Conor McGregor is a big star. He has done so many great things for MMA that I don't think we should forget about that, right? And, you know, a few hiccups here and there, but, you know, let's forgive him before.
Did anyone make you aware of Conor McGregor attended a BAMA event in Dublin lately, and his behaviour was angelic?
Yeah, no, I know that you know, it's you know, that he's been going to different events around the UK, and he has fighters, and he's very big on the gym with Kavanaugh and supports his guys, which to me is like, hey, that's fantastic, and it's admirable, and these are his people, and he lets people know it. But you know, I think we'll be fine, and I think that we'll all have a great show, and I think that we have some amazing fights on Friday night.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.